concerns were the most.
How many people over the course of a year, say in the U.S., will actually end up getting a food illness? What are the numbers?
Well, according to the U.S. Center for Disease Control, about 1/4 of Americans contract some form of food poisoning each and every year, which results in almost 1,000 hospitalizations every day and almost 15 deaths every single day because of food contamination.
Wow. Is there a dollar amount, that's been estimated to this particular problem?
Well, the U.S. Economic Research Service says the cost, the direct and indirect cost of foodborne illnesses in the United States may be as high as $7 billion a year.
That's amazing. And when you think about how much money the government could save just by making food safe and universally safe, maybe they recoup $3 billion of that, because half the people that represents are people who show up in the emergency rooms without any insurance.
Well, that's true.
And so how do you actually get the highest standard of food, using your process? Try to put it in layman's terms so the viewers understand exactly what you're doing to the food.
Sure. We start right at the very beginning of the production level, and so we incorporate independent certification programs. There's some wonderful programs out there like Best Aquaculture Practices, SQF is Safe Quality Food from FMI, Food Marketing Institute. But what these do are at the farm level, and we're regulating water quality. We're ensuring how they're raising, what kind of meal they're using to feed those fish. And that's how we're stopping the introduction of the illegal antibiotics that come in. And then the next level is actually at the processor, where we're taking this fish out of the pond or out of the sea, and we're processing it into the fillet that you're going to eat at home. And that's the step that we're at. So we've introduced our patented technologies there, and then our on-site service. And so we're sampling the the environment that it's processed in to ensure that we're not cross-contaminating as we're doing it. And then, of course, the proprietary intervention step that is actually an offensive measure that reduces the microbial load on that product. And then from that, we secure the packaging, affix our seal, and then it's insured all the way through to the consumer.
And how much money does this represent in total? What kind of market is this for your products? And have you done estimates on that?
Well, it takes an enormous amount of food to feed the world's population. There's almost 1 trillion pounds of seafood, meat, and poultry processed throughout the world each and every year. So we're really talking about billions of dollars in revenue.
Billions of dollars revenue for your company?
It's very possible.
Wow, that's amazing. And how profitable is that revenue?
Well,
potentially.
We've put in the front end work. We spent over $25 million in research and development to make sure that we had our science right where we need it to be. So our costs are probably on the south side of 30% of revenue.
Yeah, that's a great markup.
It definitely is a great markup. The companies, what type of guarantees are you going to give to, say, a company? A great example last year is, one of the biggest meat manufacturers in the U.S. ended up going bankrupt because they had a batch of bad meat, went out there, and they just said, hey, we're going to shut down because we can't even go. What type of assurance can you give these companies? And it seems to me like that would be a big piece of your business model.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about our insurance?
Sure. Marine management insurance brokers, we work with Curtis Keys as CEO, president, and also on our board of advisors. And so that's the big wrap up of all of this, is we have so much confidence in what we do. And he's done quite a bit of due diligence, observing the efficacy of the system and what we're able to achieve. And from that, we've been able to create a very unique insurance coverage. And so all the product that carries the IPURA seal is fully insured all the way through the distribution line up to the consumer. And so, that really exudes 100% confidence that at no point will regulatory intervention or recalls affect any IPURA product because of this insurance coverage.
With regards to your label, are you doing anything that will prevent forgery or, phony labels going out?
Sure. Another wonderful company we work with is CQWorks, and they're one of the 4 private companies that are allowed to use intaglio technology, which is the same technology used in currency printing and our passports, those kind of things. So we do affix an intaglio IPURA seal to each master carton of our product coming into the U.S.
And so I assume that this was when you were building your business model, that this was some concern.
Well, of course, it would. We put in a lot of effort to achieve the highest standard of food safety, and we certainly don't want it to be counterfeited and fall victim to the piracy. And so the intaglio seal that goes on every box will prevent that.
That's great. We're going to, at this point, take a quick break and go to the finest known facts, and we'll be back for the second part of our show.
And we're back, and before we left, we were talking to Keith Meeks and Aaron Ormond. From Global Food Technologies. And during the break, I was taking a look at some of the benefits that just didn't occur to me off the top of the head, but they're pretty obvious. First of all, because your process is being done at the point of origin, the labels themselves will give that identity. So if something's being packaged, for instance, in Shanghai and being shipped to New York, the consumer knows exactly where it came from. So there isn't any doubt from the location of the origin. I think that's a tremendous benefit. The other thing is that for the first time on a lot of these export products, we're going to be able to know when they were actually produced, which to me has always been something that's been frustrating when going to the market. Are there any other unique selling propositions that your process offers and your methods offer?
Well, I mean, achieving the highest standard in food safety is the goal.
It's the premier.
Yeah, that's really what it's all about. These other items there go along with achieving those standards. So it's really the on-site food safety team that does the continuous food safety program that really differentiates iPura from anything else that's out in the marketplace.
So let's take that example. When a team goes into, say, a poultry factory, how many people are going in? How are things divided out? I think it'd be great for our viewers to kind of get an understanding of how this works.
Well, it depends on the product. The model for Hainan Island has about 13 full-time Global Food employees providing our on-site daily services, which includes a couple of quality assurance people, microbiologist, a process engineer, packaging supervisors. What am I forgetting?
Maintenance technicians and system operators.
So there's about 13 in that model, a little bit more down in Chile for salmon. And so it just depends on what's needed in each factory depending on what they are producing, whether it's shrimp or tuna or tilapia or salmon.
How many employees do you have worldwide right now, just as you're getting started?
Today we have 25 people that are on the payroll and maybe 50 others that are helping us out with waiting on the chance to come aboard after we IPO.
So once you finally get off the ground and this goes into motion, though, you're going to be in a situation where the human resources are going to be a big factor. You're going to have tens of thousands of employees. How is it that an Archer Daniel Midland, an ADM, hasn't jumped in this particular market? I mean, what is left? Why is there a vacuum that you're filling? Why does the vacuum exist?
Well, someone has to be the pioneer, and in this case, Global Food Technologies and iPura will be the pioneer. We hope other people come along to fill out the space because there's no way, no matter how big we become, that we can feed the Earth's population. So there's room for others here. We hope to create a new field for Wall Street to look at for food safety.
Now, if we look at